Today on the Trent Out Loud Podcast. On your way up, be careful of how you treat people because those are the same people you're going to see on your way down. What up? It's your boy, Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, it's Monday morning. This is officially episode 320. I normally don't do a Labor Day or a holiday show, but I figured maybe let's just try something new and give you guys some light news over the holidays, just to kind of help you get you through if you're outside, chilling, cleaning up, doing whatever, just to try to help you get through your Labor Day, all right? So I do not have any lead stories today, no political stories, nothing about Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. Like I said, just some fun news, question of the day to kind of just get you through, all right? So we're going to talk about 50 Cent. We're going to talk about Adele making a huge announcement. DMX's wife has an announcement. Fatman Scoop, we all know already, Fatman Scoop passed away over the weekend. Rest in peace, Fatman Scoop. We're going to talk about Boosie, Vybz Kartel, T.I.'s son, and Diddy's criminal case continues. Then after quick news, we're going to jump into question of the day. Trust me, I got a great question of the day, and I really want you guys to chime in after I read some comments. And then, of course, as always, we're going to close out with a little bit of sports news. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, your radio, or your devices up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. 50 Cent talks beef with Rick Ross, and he says, what kind of rich N-word cuts his own grass? All right. 50 Cent talks candidly about his ongoing beef with Rick Ross. 50 Cent claims Ross is only relevant in blogs when he mentions his name. All right. 50 Cent was on Gillian Wallow's podcast. And you know when 50 Cent comes on and does an interview or does a podcast, you know it's always dope. So I'm actually going to split this up into two parts. We're going to talk about Rick Ross first, and then in our second quick story, we're going to talk about his comments he made about Dame Dash, okay? Here's his comments about Rick Ross. Take a listen.
What is it with you and Ross that's just been going on for so long?
Nothing else works for him outside of mentioning me. When things get bad, you mention me. It gets covered.
You know, it's really funny. I actually just had to Google during that clip why 50 Cent and Rick Ross have been beefing, what originally started the beef. Sorry. And you guys know I'm a big, huge 50 Cent fan. He's one of my favorite rappers. So I know all about 50's beef from Ja Rule and Preem and Gotti and all of them. Jadakiss, Fat Joe, you name it. But I was like, yo, why did they originally start beefing? I even remember the whole Officer Ricky, the Pimp Juice, the whole, just everything. But I'm like, what originally started it? And through Google, I just found out that it started that Rick Ross claimed that 50 Cent gave him a bad look at a BET Awards, and that's how it started. And I think that's why I couldn't remember, because there's no actual substance to the beef. Anyways, that's when 50 Cent started calling him Officer Ricky, and it was just a whole big thing. 50 Cent actually, part of the reason why 50 Cent had to file for bankruptcy was a tape that he leaked from one of Rick Ross's baby mamas, and he sued him. And anyways, it was a big thing. Anyways, back onto the topic at hand. Sorry, I digressed. This is the holiday, so I'm allowed to do that. So this is an ongoing beef, and it's just continuing and continuing. Rick Ross is pretty much the only rapper that has ever been like to really survive the 50 Cent kind of beef, where, you know, they say that 50 Cent ended Ja Rule's career, et cetera, et cetera. But if you really look at it, like, he kind of had a little bit of beef with Jada. He didn't end Jada's career. Fat Joe, he didn't end his career. But you'd expect when you go after somebody so hard, pause, no Diddy, that you would think that, you know, their career is over. That's 50 Cent's whole MO. So, I say all of that to say that I think these two, where Ja Rule and 50 Cent have real beef, I just feel like we're always going to hear about their beef just because they just don't like each other. I feel that's just what it is. Like, it's just a never ending, like, I just don't like you as a person. I don't like your face. I don't like how you looked at me. We actually have no real beef, like no real street beef, but we just don't like each other. And you know what? I think that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like, in an industry filled with like a bunch of fake people, they're just like, yo, I don't like you. I don't like you, you know? And I do kind of agree with 50 because I am a little bit of a Ross hater. Maybe I think because of 50. But I do feel like Rick Ross loves mentioning his name and takes every opportunity. And, you know, Rick Ross is a dope rapper. He has a lot of dope albums, but you don't really hear that much about Rick Ross anymore, except for when it's beef. So that's why, like, that whole Kendrick and Drake thing, he jumped in. I talked about that a couple of days ago where I didn't really like that. So I just feel like Rick Ross takes these beef opportunities to be like, okay, you know, and he is rich. He's making money. Wingstop, he has all that stuff. But I just feel like I would rather him do something more that's in the entertainment field if you want to be entertainment. You know what I mean? Like 50 Cent is a TV producer. He has his shows. He's on tour. Like if Ross is not going to be in music and you're going to be in restaurant, just stay over in your lane. And he only jumps into entertainment when he wants to beef with somebody. So anyways, that was a long-winded way to explain this beef. And I know this is not supposed to be lead stories and it's quick news. So I'll make the Irv Gotti one, the next Irv Gotti story quick, all right? All right, in our second lead story, 50 Cent says Dame Dash has no money now and calls Dame Dash out for telling him that $1 million that he received, the $1 million he received from his signing bonus with Eminem and Shady Records was no money at the time. 50 Cent claims that Dame Dash is currently facing financial difficulties and criticizes him for dismissing the $1 million he received from signing with Eminem Shady Records. Let's just go right to the clip. Here's 50 Cent talking about Dame Dash on $1 million worth of game, Gilly and Wallow's podcast.
How much money did he give you for that first deal?
I got $1 million. The only person that pointed out that $1 million was no money was Damon Dash, and he has no money now. He said, that ain't no money. After you get you a watch, a chain, and you look out for the homies and you do this, that's nothing. And I was like, I'm from 134th Street. $1 million is a lot of money.
Look, Dame Dash has gotten himself into a lot of hot water over the years. And we all know, I've talked about it a million times on my podcast the past couple of weeks, Dame Dash is facing a lot of financial difficulties. He his 33.3% share of Rockefeller Records is going up for auction, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, Dame has always been known to have a big mouth, a loud mouth. If you want to know about Damon Dash, just Google Dame Dash Breakfast Club. Listen to that interview. Listen to how he's talking to Charlamagne and Envy about being a boss and how I will never work for nobody else. And you got to be a boss. And Charlamagne is like, yo, like you need workers too, right? He's like, no, you're going to be a boss and all men need to be bosses and da-da-da. Like, and hearing this story, which I never heard about, him saying to 50 Cent, yo, $1 million is not a lot of money. Like to a new up and coming rapper. First of all, this is also what? Almost close to 20 years ago, right? We're not talking about today's money. And even in today's money, $1 million is still a lot of money. Joe Budden just talked about that on his podcast a couple of days ago. You can check that out too. So it's just rude to say to somebody, you know, a street kid coming from the hood hustling, so he's got $1 million. But more than that, you're signed to Eminem and Dr. Dre. So I think this is all Dame Dash's kind of just bad karma coming back to bite him in the butt, and just use this as a lesson, you know, like on your way up. I think the saying goes like, be careful be careful of the person who you are on your way up, because those are the same people that you're going to see on your way down. You know what I mean? So, you know, maybe if he was nice to Fifth, maybe if he was saying like, yo, you know what? Shout out to you, man. Coming up, Queens, Jamaica Queens, like respect, you know, like it's $1 million, do good with it, invest it. Maybe now today, you know, Dame could have turned to 50 and been like, yo, Fifth, I'm strapped for money. Can you help me out? And maybe Fifth would have helped him with his taxes or his this or whatever. I'm not saying he would have, but just be careful on your way up. Be careful of how you treat people, because those are the same people you're going to see on your way down. All right, in our third lead story, Adele announces indefinite music hiatus after upcoming residency, Vegas residency. Adele has confirmed she's preparing to take a break. As she wraps up her Munchin residency on Saturday, the Grammy Award-winning singer announced that following her upcoming Vegas return, she will be taking an indefinite hiatus from performing. In the video that surfaced online, Adele told the crowd, "But after that, I will not see you for an incredibly long time, and I will hold you dear in my heart." Okay, that sounds a little bit scary. Anyways, I have a clip. Take a listen to Adele.
5 weeks of shows, because, you know, it's like weekends and stuff like that, and 10 shows to do. But after that, I will not see you for an incredibly long time, and I will hold you dear in my heart for that whole next of my break. I just need a rest. I've spent the last sort of 7 years building a new life for myself, and I want to live it now. I want to live my new life that I've been building, and I will miss you terribly.
All right, so that's nice, I guess. It sounded a little bit like it might be something serious, but I think it's more like she's just ready to enjoy the fruits of her labor, right? Hey, I just spent the past 7 years building this life and I want to enjoy it. We're here for that. You know, we're the Trent Out Loud Podcast. We're all about our mental health and our mental well-being and all that stuff. And 100%, you want to, work hard and build this. Everybody has this dream, and then you end up working so much, and, before you know it, you're, 50, 60 years old, and life has passed you by and you worked your whole life away. So I'm sure this has a lot to do with her being engaged to Rich Paul, LeBron James' manager and longtime friend. So I see her probably, are they already married? I think they may have gotten married actually this year or last year, but I'm sure she's probably going to get pregnant, have a kid, have some family, do whatever, take some time for her. And then you'll see her in, she said an incredibly long time, but I'm sure she'll be back in like 4 or 5 years. She's going to miss it, and she's going to miss the money. All right, in our fourth quick story, DMX's ex-wife releases a statement regarding his biopic. She said, "We're not currently working with Irv Gotti." Woo, shots fired, yo. The ex-wife of the late DMX is speaking out after Irv Gotti exclusively told us, this is the Shade Room, he was working on a biopic of the late rapper. In a statement, DMX's wife said, "We want to clarify that we're not working with Irv Gotti, nor have we agreed to partner with him in any consent related to Earl Simmons," which is DMX, including a biopic. That's weird. If you guys remember, Whack 100 exposed that Irv Gotti had a stroke. I talked to you guys about that last week. He had a stroke, and he's kind of just he's been in rehab for the past 6 months. And I did find it a little bit weird that, he came out and he addressed him having a stroke, didn't like that Whack 100 told people he wanted to keep it a secret. And he's like, "Yo, by the way, I'm just out here working on DMX's biopic." I don't know why he would throw that out there. Sounds a little bit weird. I think maybe he wants to, and he's in negotiation, and then his wife is like, "Yo, we ain't even working with him." But I find it weird that she's like, "Yo, we're not even in talks," which is just weird, but Irv does weird things sometimes. All right, in our fifth quick story, Fatman Scoop dies at 53 years old after collapsing on stage during performance in Connecticut. With very sad news, Isaac Freeman III, whose real name Fatman Scoop. Isaac Freeman, real name Fatman Scoop. That sounds weird. I think it should be the other way around. I think the article made a mistake. Anyways, has died after collapsing on stage Friday night. As previously reported, CPR was performed on stage and he was rushed to the hospital. The news was confirmed by his manager on social media. We send his condolences to the family. This was the tweet. I think this is from his manager. He said, "I am honestly at a loss for words. You took me all over the world and you had me performing alongside you on some of the biggest and the greatest stages on this planet. Things that you have taught me have truly made me the man who I am today. Thank you so much. I love you, Fatman Scoop." That's really sad, man. It's so weird, actually. Just personally, I was listening to this oldies station, this oldies 990, this oldies 90s and 2000s hip hop R&B, and they played Fatman Scoop. The single ladies, if you hear me, make noise. Single, and I was just like, "Yo, this song is such a classic." And I was literally like, I forgot who performs this, like who's rapping, right? And I just couldn't remember. And then when he passed away, then I was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, it's Fatman Scoop." So that's such a classic track, such a classic hype man. Like for me, he's probably the greatest hype man ever to live. I mean, some would argue Dougie Fresh, but just legendary tracks. And they, over on Instagram over the whole weekend, they were playing a lot of like the Mariah Carey, can't remember. I think it was a Jadakiss track, and then you're hearing Fatman Scoop in the background. You're like, you just take for granted because he's just a hype man, right? But there is a video of him on stage. He has his shirt off. To me, he looked like he lost a little bit of weight from like old school Fatman Scoop. But he has his shirt off. I'm not going to post it. I do not want to play somebody dying on my YouTube video. I do not want it on my Instagram. I just don't want that kind of karma and that vibe around me. But for those of you who want to see it, just Google Fatman Scoop on stage. But yeah, it's just really weird to see, like, he's there walking on stage and then he's like, put your hands up if you want to party. And then he walks up on stage and you just see him put his hands down and it's probably having a heart attack, but he doesn't even know what's going on, right? And he just wants to keep the crowd going. And then you hear him like, put your hands up if you want to party. And he literally just falls on the DJ, falls off the stage. And that's the last words he said, apparently. So a lot of people are in the comment section saying he died doing what he loved. And his last words were, can't remember exactly what they were, but party, tell me if you want to party. Like the crowd response that he's known for doing. And I don't know how I feel. Like some people are in the comments saying it's beautiful that he died the way that he died. And some people are like, it sucks that he died that way. He should have been dying. Like I was just talking about Adele, like, you know, with the fruits of your labor, like enjoying it, you know, somewhere on a beach or like, you know what I mean? Like at 53 years old, he's still in Connecticut on stage working. I think it all depends, right? It depends how you want to look at it. Like if he's comfortable in his life and he just literally is doing this at this age for the love of it, then all the more power to him. But then, you know, if he is struggling and trying to make ends meet and he doesn't want to be on stage and he's doing this to make ends meet, then yeah, you feel sorry for him. So I hate when you hear people comment about something and you don't have context. You know what I mean? Like his wife or his children or his loved ones would be the ones to comment that. People think they know everything about everybody. Oh, great. Good for him. He died doing what he loved. How do you know what that man's going through? How do you know he loved being on stage? That's someone's job. At the end of the day, people think an actor or a model or something that you're doing, it looks like, oh my gosh, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. Yeah, it is when you start, but after 20 or 25 years, it becomes a job, bro. You know what I mean? So it's like, anyways, I just hate hearing that. But more importantly, rest in peace to the legend, Fatman Scoop. All right, in our sixth quick story, time for the smoke. Boosie will be joining Young Miami on Caresha Please. This episode might break the internet. Boosie has been announced as Young Miami's next guest on Caresha Please. The rapper will join Miami during a special live taping of the podcast during this year's Revolt World Festival. You know what? The fact, I didn't even know this till now, but the fact that it's going to be a live taping of a podcast during a festival, I'm not as excited for it. I don't know why. I just feel like if it was taped, if it was just them two, like where like Boosie can wild out, I just feel when there's a stage and it's live, it's not going to be as free, if you know what I mean. I think it's going to be a little bit more performative and you're going to be kind of like worrying about what the crowd is saying versus just a camera and a mic and a couple of sound people around. But I'm sure you're going to have some good clips from it. You know, anything Boosie does is just wild. Anything he says is wild. But we'll tune in and see, what comes of it. All right. In our seventh quick story, Vybz Kartel, the world boss, his tickets went live for purchase. I think it was Saturday, 3 a.m. and the website crashed. My cousin from Jamaica texted me and he's like, yo, don't believe that it crashed. They're just doing this for a hype. The tickets are not even going to sell out. You know how Jamaicans are. But apparently the site crashed. I don't think you could buy them anymore if they're sold out. But for those of you who don't know, the concert is, or for those of you who are interested and want to maybe trying to get tickets, I'm sure you'll get them from resellers. But the concert will be December 31st, New Year's Eve at a National Stadium in Kingston, Jamaica. I have actually been to that stadium. I went to Buju's return concert. I think it was called the Long Walk from Freedom or Long Walk to Freedom or whatever. But when Buju got out, it was a great concert. It's not the best venue, like sound-wise, I would say, but where else in Jamaica are you going to fit and hold that many people? So it's understandable why they would do it. I'll give you guys a little bit of a breakdown. Bleacher tickets are $125 US. Bleacher seats located around the venue and opposite the grandstand now available for purchase. Bleacher patrons have designated entry. Okay, you guys don't need to know that. Grandstand tickets are $300 US. Grandstand seats located behind the cycle track are now available for purchase. Grandstand patrons will have a designated, okay, same thing as that. You'll have food court restroom In-field, these are the better tickets now, $400 US. And so in-field is located behind center stage, available for purchase now. These grass standing areas have a great view of the stage. In-field patrons will have a designated entry. Okay, so that's $400 if you want to be in the field. There is a cycle track. I'm going to put up a post of the stadium while I'm talking about this so that you guys can see the actual stadium. So there's cycle track, which is kind of around. And by the way, for those who are not seeing the stadium, the stage is right in the middle. I think Jay-Z started that. Drake does that a lot too, but that's amazing because, normally you would have it. That's how it was for Buju too, where it's like all the way on one end and then you miss out a whole back row. It's in the middle now, so everybody around will be able to see him wherever he is. I think it's brilliant. And then there's a cycle track where this is kind of like VIP. This is 10,000 US, but listen to this before you freak out. The cycle track pod's located parallel to the running track, available for purchase now. This area has a great view of the stage. Cycle track patrons will have a designated area, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the cycle track pods entitles you to 8 tickets and a bottle package, including 6 premium bottles and a hostess and security. That's pretty good, man. So 8 tickets, that works out to being, 1,000 something each. But you get bottle service, you get a hostess, and you get security. So, man, if you pay the $400, just pay a little bit more and you get like VIP, you get your bottle, you get everything. So that doesn't sound too bad if you have a group of 8 people. And then there's a cycle track, and then there's center stage. This one sounds pretty dope too. It's $1,500 US. Center stage located closest to the stage, available for purchase now. This area is situated directly in front of the stage and behind the media area, providing patrons with the closest view to this stage. So $1,500 if you want to get closest to the stage, $10,000 for 8 people, VIP bottle service with security and all of that. And like I said, I will put up a picture of the entire stadium so that you could see. From what I know, I don't know what's happening to the website. I haven't checked it out. I just checked it out on Saturday and it was totally shut down. If you guys want to go to the Vybz Kartel concert, get your tickets from resellers somehow if you want to be part of this. I don't agree with my cousin. I feel like every single ticket will be sold out and it will be mayhem. The only thing that I don't like is that it's New Year's Eve. I wish they would have done it on another weekend because, I would want to go, but, I spend time with my family on New Year's and over the holidays. Like have a New Year's Eve party. And I don't want to ruin that to go stand in a stadium with a bunch of strangers on a big crowd. I just don't like that it's on New Year's. But trust me, it's going to sell out. All right, but this brings us to our 8th quick story. Congratulations, T.I. reveals that his son King is expecting his first child. He said, King is about to have a son. I will raise that son to torture you the way you tortured me. T.I. and his son King have a good relationship, but it's like a love-hate relationship. I shouldn't say love-hate because that's his son, but King gets on his nerves, you know what I mean? But he definitely loves him. I'm sure T.I. was a pain in the butt to his father too. Anyways, here is T.I. I don't know what podcast or interview this was, but anyways, take a listen.
So I got 2 grandchildren. Yeah, I got 2 granddaughters. I got a grandson on the way. King's about to have a son. And I told him I'm going to make this the greatest gangster of all time. I will raise this child to torture you the way that you tortured me.
Can you believe that T.I. is a grandfather of 3? That's just crazy, man. Like, just nuts. All right, in our 8th and final quick story, new subpoena issued for all surveillance footage of Diddy and his associates who stayed at the Miami hotel from 2008 to present. The subpoena also mentions Daphne Joy. I would just like to repeat the date. Not 2018, 2008 till present. That's a lot of information. It looks like Diddy's legal troubles are far from over. According to court documents obtained by TMZ, a new subpoena has been issued in hopes of landing a criminal indictment against the now disgraced music producer. The subpoena is requiring a Miami hotel to release reservations details, including Diddy, Daphne Joy, and his associates of him. Investigators want records from January 1st, 2008 till present. They are also requesting check-in and check-out dates, rooms, guest preferences and requests, and billing information, including room service. Perhaps the most interesting thing feds are requesting is surveillance footage. It is no secret that several months ago, when surveillance footage surfaced of Diddy physically assaulting Cassidy, he lost every amount of credibility he had left. Diddy is facing several lawsuits after being accused of sexual, you guys know already what that is. I can't say it because I'm on YouTube. We previously reported that his accusers will be called to testify before a grand jury. Whew! I'm not saying that this is the only reason this is happening, but every time I come on here and I'm like, yo, Diddy posted him and his son somewhere, or Diddy posted him on a beach. I think the last time it was Diddy on a beach with, who was he with? Can't remember the name of that guy. Whatever. Anyways, I'm like, why is this guy on the beach? Why is he posting it? Why is he doing this? A couple of days later, subpoena that I just don't. I'm not saying that it's only because he's on social media, but yo, Diddy, stay low. Stop rubbing it in these investigators and police and detectives' face that you're out here walking around a free man. Every time you come out on Instagram or on some social media platform, a couple of days later, I got to read an article saying, yo, this hotel was subpoenaed. Yo, they want surveillance footage. Yo, they want this. They're going after Diddy again. Like, I don't know. At this point, I don't know if they're going to be able to charge him with anything because it's been a long time, a lot of raids, a lot of investigation. And Diddy's walking around here like they ain't got nothing on him. But I'm sure at some point we're going to see something. They're not going to work this hard and this long. You know, I don't think Diddy's a Teflon Don, but we shall see. All right, this brings us to question of the day. What irritated y'all this week? All right, I'm sure we're going to hear some funny comments here. All right, that Flyboy T said, Donald Trump backpedaling on abortion rights and IVF and people really believing this crazy man. Please vote in November. All right, I said no politics, so I'm not going to comment on that. Although I do have a comment, but I won't say anything. OG Perk said, Rashida's husband. Okay, don't know who that is. K something Rose said, people breathing irritated her this week. All right, I know how you feel sometimes. Fata82 said, how drunk drivers always survive. Yeah, I think that's obviously from the story. I didn't want to put this in here in this episode, but it's just depressing. But I'm sure you guys must have heard the two. I think one of them played in the NHL and the other one was his brother in Jersey, going to their sister's wedding the day before. They were struck by a drunk driver and died while riding their bicycles in New Jersey. I'm sure you guys must have heard that already, but I'm sure that's what she's referring to. Yeah, so rest in peace to those two brothers. And that is definitely irritating that the drunk driver always survives and it's always other people dying. It's terrible. Coco Boutique Bougie said, I've been in the gym consistently 2 weeks, 5 days a week, and where are the results? I'm still chunky, y'all. How long does this ish take? And that is what's bothering me, irritating me this week. That's funny. Somebody said, what's really irritating me this week is that my rent is due. I told you guys I'd find funny comments. Somebody said, what didn't irritate me is the real question. Brit Brat said, my hair not being done really irritated me this week. Basketball Mom 757 said, drivers, why the hell is everybody always in a rush? That irritated me this week. Tima Management said, people on the internet bothered me this week. I don't know why people get so bothered with people on the internet. I know I just said one thing about people commenting about Fatman Scoop, but you literally hear, because I'm on the internet all the time, you literally hear people getting so upset with people in the comment section. I've never had an argument with not one person in the comment section. Like, you're not going to irritate me over something that you type, man. So just take things with a grain of salt, man. The other person is probably on the other side of the world, and they're probably like a freaking 13-year-old kid who doesn't even know what he's saying. So don't let them irritate you. This post irritates me every week, every time I see this. Really? I've never actually seen this. Somebody said leaving my house really irritated me this week. All these children just getting dropped off at the wrong stops really irritated me this week. Okay, that makes no sense. Somebody said the heat really irritated me this week. Somebody else said my bills really irritated me. My coworkers really irritated me. A few people in power positions that don't know how to manage it really irritated me this week. My 2-year-old don't listen. I'm ready to return her to sender. It's cute. All right, let me read 2 more. All these bills hitting at once. And another person said bills. Okay, let me find something else new. Okay, I'm not going to read that. Somebody said my boy's best friend. Somebody said every darn thing. All right, maybe this one might be good. Not being able to take off whoever I thought. Okay, no, that's not good. Wow, I can't find one good one. Here we go. People with bad breath really irritated me this week. All right, really good comments. If you guys have to get something off your chest, what irritated you this week, send me an email, Trent at cfqr600.com. Comment below this video or send me a DM at any of my socials, Trent Out Loud. All right, this brings us to sports news. Angel Reese sets records for the most double-doubles by a rookie in WNBA history. Y'all know how much I love Angel Reese. The Chi-Town Barbie has reached another milestone. During the Chicago Sky's game against Indiana Fever, Angel Reese landed her 11th rebound of the night and officially passed Tina Charles for the most rebounds by a rookie in WNBA history. And that's not it. Angel's 23rd double-double are the most by any rookie in the league's history. Congrats. To be fair, a lot of people say she gets her own rebounds, which I don't really like. But anyways, shout out to Angel Reese. I definitely have a lot more I would like to say, but I'm out of time. Look at this. I decided to jump on here, not do any lead stories, do a bunch of quick stories, have a small little podcast, and it ended up being actually just as long as a regular podcast. What can I say, man? I like to talk. That's why I have a podcast. All right. Before I go, just want to remind you guys of all the way to stay up to date with the Trent Out Loud podcast. For those of you who are used to watching the show on YouTube or podcast platforms, please try to check me out Monday through Friday on cfqr600.com from 11 to 12. We do play the Trent Out Loud podcast, but we mix it in with 90s and 2000s hip-hop and R&B. It's a great way to spend your hour. We play it right in the middle of the day, helps you get through your day, on to lunch and home. Boom. Check us out. Vice versa, if you're used to listening to this show on CFQR 600 and you can't always catch it between 11 and 12, don't worry. We upload all shows to YouTube and podcast platforms. So go to your desired site, type in Trent Out Loud. The show will pop up. Don't forget to hit the follow or subscribe button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new show. And if you're like me and you like to watch your podcast with video, Spotify now supports video, so please check us out on Spotify. Lastly, you could follow me on any social media platform at Trent Out Loud or the production company on Instagram, Exclucity Media. I really hope you enjoyed your Labor Day weekend with me. Thanks for kicking it, and I will see you on Tuesday morning. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace!